Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus by John Gray is a classic in relationship psychology, explaining key differences in the thinking and behavior of men and women. The author uses the metaphor of Martians and Venusians to show that conflicts in couples often arise from a misunderstanding of these differences. The book teaches how to communicate properly, support your partner, and avoid typical mistakes. For example, when men seek solutions while women await emotional support. It helps to mend relationships, reduce arguments, and learn to speak your partner's language. Gray offers practical advice: why men need to retreat to their cave and women need to talk things out, how to express love so your partner feels it, and why compromise doesn't always work. Interestingly, the book became a worldwide bestseller, selling over 50 million copies, although it was initially rejected by 30 publishers. The idea came to Gray after his divorce. He began studying relationship psychology to understand his mistakes. Part 1. Different planets, different languages. Rule 1. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. A metaphorical explanation of the fundamental differences between male and female psychology. Men focus on problem solving, women on discussing feelings. These differences are evolutionarily ingrained. Men hunted, focus on a goal. Women maintained tribal bonds, developed communication. Example: after a difficult day, a woman wants to share her experiences, while a man offers solutions. This leads to mutual irritation. She feels unheard. He feels his advice is unappreciated. Acknowledging innate differences is the first step to understanding. Rule 2. Mr. Fix-It and the Home Improvement Committee. Men express love through actions, fixing a faucet. Women through improving their partner. You should change jobs. A man's "I love you" sounds like "I'll help." A woman's like "I understand you." Example: when a wife criticizes her husband for scattered socks, she's actually showing care, wanting to improve his life. But he perceives it as a reproach for incompetence. Love is often hidden behind complaints, expressed in a foreign language. Rule 3. Men are like rubber bands. Women are like waves. Male intimacy cycle. Approach. Pull back, new approach. Female. Gradual increase in emotional involvement. Men need to periodically retreat into their cave. Silence, hobbies. Women need to feel a constant connection. Example: after intimacy, a man might become distant. This is a natural recharging process, not a loss of interest. Personal space isn't betrayal, but a physiological need. Rule 4. How to speak different languages. Men use speech to convey information. Women use it to build connection. Translation technique. When a woman says, "Nobody appreciates me," she's not looking for a solution, but the phrase, "Tell me more, I'm with you." Example: instead of "You need to calm down," male approach, say, "I see how upset you are," female approach. This creates contact instead of conflict. Conclusion: sometimes wrong words are the right words in a different language of love. Rule 5. The 12 major differences in communication. Key differences: motivation: men through achievement, women through relationships. Reaction to stress: men withdraw, women talk. Need for recognition: men value results, women effort. Example: when a man loses his job, he needs to be alone. A woman needs to discuss it with friends. Both ways are normal, just different. Conclusion: don't try to change your partner, learn to decipher their native language. Overall conclusion for part 1. The first part of the book explains why even loving people often feel like foreigners in relationships. Differences manifest at all levels, in ways of showing care, experiencing stress, expressing love. The main mistake is assuming that your partner should think and feel the same way you do. Practical advice: start small when you feel your partner is acting strange. Remember, they're not from your planet. And that's not a flaw, but a characteristic that once attracted you to each other. Part 2. How to keep love alive. Rule 6. The man's cave and the woman's well. Men under stress retreat into their cave, silence, isolation, while women seek comfort by descending into the well of emotions. The mistake is demanding immediate discussion from a man, or quick calming from a woman. Example: when a man is silent for 30 minutes after work, it's not ignoring you, he's recharging. The best tactic is to give him space, offering, "Tell me when you're ready." Respect for different ways of recharging prevents 80% of domestic conflicts. Rule 7. How women spark men. Women's questions as advice, "Why don't you?" are heard by men as criticism. The pure listening technique. Replace advice with, "I trust you to find a solution yourself." Male motivation awakens when they feel trusted, not controlled. Example: instead of, "You should get a new barbecue," this one's old, say, "It's great that you're making dinner for us yourself." This will inspire him to update his equipment. Men flourish with approval, not instructions. Rule 8. How men disappoint women. Men's attempts to solve problems dryly, without emotional engagement, leave women unsatisfied. It's important for women to first receive emotional support. "I understand your feelings," and only then solutions. Example: when a wife complains about a colleague, she expects not a list of actions, file a complaint, but empathy. I can imagine how frustrating that is. Do you want to talk about it? Women need empathy as first aid, while men immediately need medication in the form of solutions. Rule 9. Ways to avoid arguments. The time buffer technique. Before responding in a conflict, take a 20-minute pause. For men to think, for women to cool down. Forbidden phrases: "you always," "you never." They program relationships for failure. Example: instead of, "You always forget to take out the trash," say, "I'd be grateful if you'd take care of that." This way, you're talking about needs, not accusations. Arguments are not a battle, but a diagnosis of your partner's needs. Rule 10. How to ask for support and get it. Women often hint, "What a mess." Men wait for direct requests. The formula for an effective request: can you specific action? This is important to me because reason. Gratitude for completion reinforces the behavior. Example: instead of the passive-aggressive, "I always have to do everything myself," say, "Can you do the dishes tonight? I'm very tired. The likelihood of it being done triples." Clear requests reduce the feeling of "I'm not being heard" by 90%. Overall, conclusion for part 2. This part is an instruction manual for translating from Martian to Venusian. The main discovery: 70% of conflicts arise not from a lack of love, but from mismatched languages. When a woman understands that male silence isn't rejection, but a way of recovery, and a man realizes that female complaints aren't criticism, but an invitation to intimacy, relationships reach a new level. Practical tools: time buffer, clear requests, empathy before solutions, act as a translation bridge between planets. They don't eliminate differences, but turn them into a source of joy, not conflict. Ultimately, love isn't fusion, but a dance of two universes, where every step is a conscious choice to be together despite the gravity of different worlds. Part 3. Deeper differences. Rule 11. Male and female sexual needs. For men, sex is a way to feel intimacy. For women, it's a result of emotional closeness. Men are aroused physically, women through conversation and foreplay. The 20 minutes before sex technique. The man slows down, the woman speeds up, meeting in the middle. Example: instead of immediate sex after work, a man can spend 15 minutes discussing his partner's day. This naturally increases her arousal. Conclusion: synchronizing tempos transforms sex from an obligation into a celebration. Rule 12. How to inspire each other. Men are motivated by recognition of their competence. Women by admiration of their feelings. Criticism kills male motivation. Indifference wounds female motivation. The positive mirror technique. Emphasize what you like instead of pointing out flaws. Example, instead of "you forgot about our evening again," say, "when you make time for us, I feel special." This creates a desire to repeat the positive behavior. Conclusion, inspiration works better than coercion. Rule 13, why men withdraw and women cling. Men's fears of not being good enough. Women's is of being left alone. In crises, men withdraw, testing their feelings. Women intensify contact. The safe distance technique. Give a man space while maintaining unobtrusive support. Example, when a man withdraws, it's better to say, "I'm here when you're ready to talk," than to demand an immediate explanation. Conclusion, trusting the cycle of closeness and distance strengthens relationships. Overall conclusion for part 3. These chapters reveal how basic fears and motivations shape behavior in relationships. Men's need for achievement and women's need for emotional connection don't compete, but complement each other. The practical key? Don't try to change your partner's nature. Use these differences as a resource. When a man understands that a woman's clinging love isn't control, but a need for security, and a woman accepts a man's retreat to the cave as a way to recharge, conflicts turn into growth points. True intimacy isn't born from sameness, but from the ability to dance to different rhythms. Part 4, practical advice. Rule 14, how to keep passion alive. Passion fades not from time, but from a misunderstanding of basic needs. It's important for men to feel successful, for women to feel an emotional connection. The date with yourself technique. Set aside 2 hours a week for personal hobbies. This restores energy to relationships. Example, when a man spends Saturday morning fishing and a woman spends it with friends, they return to each other with renewed energy and stories. Conclusion, healthy boundaries fuel passion. Rule 15, 4 keys to harmony. Different ways of listening, men to solve, women to understand. Different ways of supporting for him, trust, for her involvement. Different love languages for him, actions, for her words. Different needs in crises. For him, space, for her hugs. Example, when a man is sick, bring him medicine, care through actions. For a woman, sit and hold her hand, care through presence. Harmony is not sameness, but complementarity. Rule 16, the art of compromise. True compromise is when both feel like winners. The 2 baskets technique. Divide controversial issues into important to me and I can yield. Discuss only the first basket, automatically accepting the second. Example, if kitchen cleanliness is critical to the wife and movie choices to the husband, these areas become their sovereign territory without argument. Conclusion, wise concessions build a strong foundation. Overall, conclusion for part 4. The final part transforms theory into concrete life strategies. The main secret is not to find an ideal partner, but to learn to love a real person in their own language. When men stop demanding logic from women and women stop demanding constant emotional engagement from men, relationships achieve a new quality. The practical tools in these chapters work as a translation bridge between planets. They don't eliminate differences, but turn them into a source of joy, not conflict. Ultimately, love isn't fusion, but a dance of 2 universes, where every step is a conscious choice to be together, despite the gravity of different worlds. This is such a wonderful book. I have compiled a separate list of all the important theses from this book, along with all the techniques and tools, and created a step-by-step action plan that you can immediately implement in your life. You can get all this in my community, Place of Power. There you will find a detailed text analysis with similar lists for each book being reviewed. The community has already thoroughly analyzed and made available to you hundreds of world bestsellers, with a new analysis released every day. Follow the link in the description and use it.